Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Chuke, is that you? No! F***ing Chuke!
Greetings once again, all. I wanted to do a video on having a second identical, or in this case almost identical, gun to the one you carry. And the reason is because I've been hanging out with Long Windy Road, and he did his competition deal with those SIG P320 Legions, and I couldn't believe he bought another one. They're so expensive. But we'll talk about that. I did want to talk about my new acquisition. Now, this is the Gen 4. I've always been partial to Gen 4s. I liked everything about them. This is customized. I actually like the finger grooves in a Gen 4, but this is the Boogeyman Customs Gucci Glock Gen 4 Glock 19. It is safe. I've always liked Gen 4, but I finally broke down and got a Gen 5, and really happy with it. I got the Gen 5 MOS. I wanted to talk about Gen 4 and 5 Glocks. I got the MOS, so it's red dot compatible. The plate system sucks though, compared to having something milled out and just, it's so sturdy, sunk in there when you mill it out and you just put the screws down. These plate systems break a lot. Some people haven't had problems with them, but Hammerheart Outdoors had one on his SIG, a similar plate system, almost knocked his teeth out when it came flying off. So I'm not happy with that. The way to go is to get your slide milled, but I didn't do that with this, obviously. But this is a Gen 5, and I gotta say the Gen 5 trigger is really impressive. They really did a good job. Also, the double spring, the double recoil spring, it reminds me of HK. I don't know how they didn't get sued for that, but you do notice a little bit better recoil, slightly better recoil than the Gen 4s, and pulling it back is much harder than a Gen 4. It just goes back easy in my mind. That's the first thing I noticed when I racked this thing. But anyways, I have the an older Holosun that I don't really like compared to the Trijicon. I like some of the newer ones, but I don't like these older Holosuns. I got the 407C on here, version 2 or whatever. Suppressor height, night sights, it's just really awesome, nice to carry. But the whole reason why I got a second one is because I've been watching Long Windy Road. Check out his channel, subscribe to it. He started competing. He started off with Steel Match, and he went to USPSA or whatever that is. And anyways, I couldn't believe he bought a second Legion, because those are super expensive. I forgot, you know, $1,100 to $1,300 for the setup he has, because he had a bunch of extra stuff, gray guns and the SIG armor trigger. Then he got some more stuff for it and the grip module. Anyways, these are pricey guns, and he bought a second one. And I remember asking, wait, you're getting another Legion? And he's like, yeah, because I train with one and then I compete with the other. He's even going to get a third one eventually, just to have a backup, because if something goes wrong with one, then he'll use his training in a match, and vice versa. But then he's going to get a backup just for parts, and if something goes wrong with his match gun, then he's got a second match gun, and he mainly uses his trainer. So it's pretty interesting, and these Glocks can take a lot of rounds. Compared to SIGs, I do have to say, Do It Right AK has done extensive training and testing with SIGs, and they tend to blow out after a couple thousand rounds, at least from what I've seen, the springs and the frames. Hopefully that doesn't happen to this Legion, but he's good about, Long Windy Road's good about replacing the parts. But Glocks tend to run a lot longer, and HKs obviously do. I had the same idea. I'm like, why should I have just one? And so I wanted another Glock 19. Now, a lot of people are going to boo-hoo me with the different triggers, especially since I have the Timney trigger in here. And it's like, oh, it's not the same to train with. But there's competition guys and shooting guys that have said it doesn't matter what platform you train in, as long as you practice your trigger control, it's going to help whatever gun you're using. So, and I tend to believe that, and these are close enough. Now, the Timney trigger, I'm glad I did this, because the Timney trigger failed on me. I reinstalled it after it failed the first time, and as you can see, I had problems with it. So I'm probably going to have a gunsmith look at it, and I'd like to send it off to Johnny Glock because he's doing some amazing stuff with those triggers. Whatever happens, I may just put a stock trigger back in, which would be a tragedy because the Gen 3 or 4 triggers are pretty crummy compared to the Gen 5. Gen 5s are, you still feel a little sponginess, but they're not bad. They're actually a decent trigger to shoot for Glock. But anyways, I'm lucky that I did that because not long after I got this and I decided to carry this, this blew out on me. And then I tried to take the RMR off and strip the screws, of course. So it's just one thing after another, but it doesn't matter because I have the Gen 5 and it's running fine. It's, I've shot a few hundred rounds out of it, not a single malfunction. Gotta love Glocks, they're just tanks, but really comfortable in the crossbreed holster, and I'm just happy with it. So let me know what you guys think. I say if you've got a good carry gun, buy a second one and do most of your training with the second one and carry the one that you want to carry. And in this case, you can also get a Glock 44 and use that for some training. Now that 9mm is coming back in stock, I'm not doing that as much. And a lot of people ho-hummed about the whole Glock 44, saying you're not getting the recoil and it's not the same, but I think any little bit of training helps. And it isn't the same, but I think it still is helpful. And the cool thing is having the same gun as all the lights. My Surefire light can go onto this or this and fit that battle belt training holster I have. So it's just a good idea, I think. Let me know what you guys think, and let this be an excuse for you to buy a second almost identical gun. Thanks guys, it's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you all die every time.